Hello y'all, it's me again. I'm gonna make a video this time talking about a new K-drama series I saw. Now before I get into it, I'm gonna real quick explain what got me interested in the show. So for those of you who don't know, I am a pretty big fan of this Korean pop group of these four different girls, and this group is called Blackpink. And part of what I like so much about this group is not only the music, but the personality that each of these members gives with just their own thing that they do. You got Jisoo, Jennie, Lisa, and Rose, and they all have their own thing that they're part of, that they do, but they all contribute in very different ways to this band to make really interesting and entertaining content for their fans called Blinks, myself included. So after hearing about a lot of them when I was going through a whole phase where all I would watch on YouTube are videos explaining their different lives and stuff like that, I learned that Jisoo actually originally trained to be an actress. So with that being known, there's this new TV show that she was going to be in, this new K-drama called Snowdrop, which was going to premiere on Disney Plus in different parts of the world. And I was really excited to watch this show, and basically that's where my interest for the show began and I guess basically ended. So I checked out the show, and I'm going to go into a lot about this show. Now, real quick, before I do talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, it's going to seem like the bad outweighed the good by a milestone. But before I give an actual rating, I'm just going to overall say that I really did enjoy this show. There's a lot that I didn't like about it, but I feel that the good overall outweighed the bad, and it kept my attention somewhat to say that I quite enjoyed the experience of this entire show. Now, with that being said, let's go into the good. So first off, I thought the acting from everyone, especially Jisoo, was so good, dude. And everyone brings their own thing to the table, like the guy love interest, the headmaster, even the annoying girl who I'll get into later. Everyone does such a good job at playing their roles, and while everything kind of somewhat feels exaggerated, it really works with the exaggerated tone of this entire show. And I never felt taken out of the experience because someone was being too much or too little. Each character has their own thing, and the ones that were too much are characters that are themselves like crazy, so it all worked out and sort of balanced each other out. Another thing I really liked about this TV show are the action scenes. Now, there are specific moments of CGI that, again, I'll get into later, but the action scenes and the action choreography when it comes to agents fighting spies or all this different stuff going on, you know, it all works so well with the film. It all works so well within the TV show, and the action scenes, it takes a lot to get good action choreography in a TV show, and I thought for being my first K-drama, I thought it did really well. And I'm gonna say this thing real quick, I should have said it at the beginning of the video. I'm not gonna compare this show to other K-dramas because I haven't seen any other K-dramas. This is my first K-drama experience, so I'm gonna rate it and grade it based off of how it works by itself. And by itself, I thought the action scenes were really engaging and very well done. I also thought the story was very well told and really kept my interest. Now, there is so much going into this show. There are all these different plot lines, all these different things going on, all these different characters and all this character development. And there are some moments in the show that, again, I'll get into later, but overall, the story felt really engaging, and it's something that sort of caught me by surprise because when I first watched this show, I was expecting it to be sort of like this love story, drama kind of thing, and it kind of goes a completely different way. I don't think that's a spoiler, but, you know, part of that is the appeal of why the show kept me interested, and I thought it did a great job doing so. I also really like the production design in this TV show, especially the set design and everything that goes on. Now, the show is primarily taking place in a girl dormitorium, but you see all these other places like police stations and campout tents and hotel rooms and big houses. Like, there's so many different locations that are very specific and very well done. I thought the production design and the set design, especially with the TV show, was great, and it did a great job at sort of getting you into the craziness that's about to occur in the TV show. And finally, my last big pro is that the characters were really well done themselves. Now, there are some that are not as well developed, but overall, the show got me to care about characters that I guess during certain moments I wouldn't really care about, or near the beginning I thought were kind of bland. It did a good job at developing them and making you really feel for the ones you're supposed to feel, and making you really feel anger and resentment towards the ones you were supposed to. I thought the show did a really good job doing that, and I remembered mainly everyone from this TV show while watching it, and there was never a face where it felt out of place. Alrighty, those were my pros. There's a lot I liked about it, but let's get into the stuff I didn't really like about it. The big one is plot conveniences. Now, I thought this show did a great job overall with the story. That doesn't mean there weren't a lot of plot conveniences, moments where big things are about to happen and something comes in at the perfect time to stop something from happening or to make something happen when it's not gonna happen. There's just a lot of plot convenience stuff like that I'll get into later on in the spoiler part of the review, but yeah, that got kind of annoying. Another thing, a weird technical spec that I noticed, but the show would sometimes have flashbacks, and when it does, it would be in this 4:3 aspect ratio, but every time it was in that aspect ratio, you could tell it was filmed at the native widescreen look and just squished together, and it sort of creates like a disorienting look to it. Not like their faces are like pencils, obviously, like it's not that crazy, but it doesn't look great, especially when it changes from like widescreen to that really quick and you see how different the faces look. They could have done a better job doing so, or they could have filmed it with that aspect ratio in mind. It felt like it was a last minute thing that they decided to put in the show to make you know that it's a flashback, and it was kind of annoying. I also thought the show had moments of predictability, like there'd be one-liners where someone would say something or a character would explain something, but minorly, and for some reason it just stuck with me, and not to spoil it, but it would most often than not show up later on in the show, and rather than it being like a, oh, I knew it kind of moment, while initially that could have been my reaction, it really turns into like a, oh, well, they didn't do a good job at making that subtle because I saw that coming, and it kind of took me out of some of the stuff that happened at the end, but you know, it isn't the biggest con, it's just something that I noticed was kind of annoying about the show. But on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, there were some amazing scenes in this that were completely ruined by the use of annoying ass pop music. I cannot fathom how much this annoyed me. I really don't know if this is something that happens with other K-dramas. I've heard they have a reputation of being kind of cheesy and having usage of music. I don't know, just something about like the annoying music blaring over scenes where it shouldn't have music, or it should probably have more orchestrated music. And the fact that it's not just annoying music, but it's the same 5 tracks for the same emotional punches in the story over and over again. There were moments near the end where big scenes are happening and you're supposed to be engaged and like excited to see what happens next, and I literally burst out laughing during one of the most important scenes, and it really did just like ruin it for me. Like that was what brought my grade down quite a bit. But yeah, that was bad. Also, on the topic of acting, it's probably just part of the TV show, or maybe it's, I guess, bad acting, but there are moments where characters are in intense situations where they're told to tell the truth or whatever, and they're clearly lying because they can barely look at the subject when they're saying, yeah, they did this, or no, they didn't do that. And it's like, is everyone in here an idiot? Like, with all the strategies that they use to plan out how to get from one thing to another, you would think that they would have some common sense or can tell when someone's lying. I don't know, I was like, oh my god, they're so clearly lying. How do these fucking not see that that's clearly lying for the benefit of the person who's telling the lie? And yeah, that was annoying. And finally, my last con before I get into spoilers is that, again, it kept my attention, but god, did it drag in some episodes. There are so many moments where just like stuff would happen where you're like, oh god, and I like the ending of each episode for the most part. Like, I enjoy the cliffhanger thing and the extras thing that they do. I would skip on the next episode because I don't like knowing about an episode before I watch the next episode. But yeah, there were just so many moments where I'm like, just get on with it, to the point where like something big would happen and it should have given me like an emotional response, but I was just mostly like, thank you, finally something different's happening in the show. That got really annoying. And yeah, good show, but they could have cut out like 2 or 3 different plot points in the show that really didn't matter that much, or didn't need to matter as much as they did later on, because I guess it kind of matters. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into the spoilers, baby. So the radio shit. I thought the whole radio stuff with the annoying girl who lives there but isn't a student, she got on my fucking nerves, dude. I really thought she was one of the most annoying characters, and I guess in that sense, the actress did a good job bringing that role to life and making the audience dislike her. But the fact that you got like the headmistress or headmaster or whatever talking on the radio, and then she steals the radio, and then she doesn't have the radio, and then the radio, that shit got really annoying to the point where like once that scene happens where the guy like fucking snaps at her over the radio, was just like the best thing ever. I didn't like the way the show resolved. While it has like an overall good ending, there was a lot of stuff that was unanswered. The two big ones for me are that I wanted to see where the nurse or the North Korean nurse girl ended. Like, it doesn't need to show like this whole thing in the future. I would have been more at ease knowing that she's somewhat alive, or like just knowing what happened to her, because she was a big part of the show. She did a lot, and to just have her last moment be that last moment felt kind of unsatisfying. But the biggest thing are the roommates. Now, once they realize that Jisoo's character is the daughter of the guy who leads the ANSP, they just completely forget all the friendship that they've created, and they just completely hate her in that moment. And they hate her till the end, and there's not a scene where she sees them or they apologize or she gets to explain herself saying, hey, like, clearly I'm still here. Like, if I were selfish or if I deserved the hate, I would have left during all the moments where I had a chance. But no, I decided to stay here to save you all, you ungrateful little bitch. But no, that's just brushed to the side. Once everything is resolved, we never see those characters again, and who knows, maybe they still hate her, and if so, that's cool. But they didn't even like show them, it just happened. But yeah, that kind of, I can't change it. I also thought the plot convenience with the whole detonator thing, like, of course the wife shows up right when he's about to push the button, and then all this other stuff happens, and then all this other stuff happens, and the photo thing was great. Again, that was a scene that was really good, then it got really annoying, and then it got really good like near the end. But plot convenience, I also thought the annoying girl's resolution, going back to like the radio shit, she needed like a scene where she gets punched in the face or something, dude. Like, her resolution and the whole like, oh, everything's fine and dandy now, we've made up, I hated you but now we're cool. Fuck out of here with that shit. Ugh, she's so annoying. I didn't like her resolution at all. It was very undeserving. Fucking, she was treated better than Jisoo's character. What the hell? I also thought the corruption between everyone, and like the whole, this guy's portraying this guy and this guy's betraying this other guy, and the North Korean leader wants them to do this but they do that, and like it gets a little confusing to the point where I feel that it actually gets a little convoluted. I literally was trying to be like, wait, I thought this organization was doing that thing. It was just a lot. I feel like one of those subplots could have been cut to not only save time for the TV show and maybe take out an episode's worth of shit that wasn't really needed, but I don't know. It got kind of exhausting seeing all this stuff. I understand it was all particular to what was going on, and it got kind of old pretty quick. I'm going to get to my last spoiler con, the wives. The whole wives subplot where they're like, oh, my husband's better than you. Oh, my husband's better than you. Sorry, real quick, let me reiterate. By that, I mean my husband's better than your husband, and my husband is more powerful than your husband. I don't mean like the husband thinks they're better than the other wife. I kind of said it like it meant that. That's not at all what I meant. Alright, I just didn't care. It would have saved us so much time. I get they're important for that one scene at the end, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of overdone. I thought it was kind of stupid. It didn't need to be in the movie. They could have written around it. Whatever. But overall, what did I think about the TV show? I know it seems like after listing more than enough cons that I would absolutely hate it, or at least not like it. And that's very much not the case, because again, I feel like while the cons kind of outweigh the pros, the experience of this show and what I wanted to get out of it was just a new experience, like experience something new and something enjoyable. And again, it kept my attention. Something about the show made me want to keep watching it just because I actually cared about the story going on. And I think like there's a lot of like small things that kind of annoyed me that overall brought down the rating, and there's some really big stuff that annoyed me too. But just seeing Jisoo act for the first time and do such a great job at doing so, and seeing this interesting story be told to all these like different people watching the show, I thought in that sense the show was pretty well done. There are people who are gonna love this and there are people who are gonna hate this, and I'm someone who liked it. And overall, I think the show garners this rating pretty well. because I feel that my experience was overall satisfied by watching the show. So with that being said, I think it's fair to give this show a 7. Maybe later on I might lower it to a 6, but I feel that a 7 is pretty fair because I do feel like I got my time's worth, and while I kind of wanted a little more coming out of it, it's something that I overall really enjoyed, and I would recommend this to other people just to see if it's their cup of tea or not. There were some tropes in it. There was a lot of stuff I didn't like about it, but I do think the good overall outweighs the bad, and for that, yeah, I feel that it's more than fair to give this a 7. But with that being said, that's what I thought about Snowdrop. Let me know what y'all think if you've seen it. If not, go check it out, see if it's your thing. Quick update, the show is supposed to be releasing on Disney Plus in the US on February 9th, so check it out then when it's available. But yeah, stay awesome, stay safe, and go watch a movie. Peace. Blackpink in your area. I hope they come to my area soon, dude. I want to see them live so bad.